When we say Shiva, if you look at his life process, he went through everything that any human being would go through. He is many things at the same time. He is the most beautiful, he is the ugliest, he is a great ascetic, he is a family person, he is the most disciplined, he is a drunkard, he is a dancer, he is absolutely still. Gods worship him, demons worship him, all kinds of creatures in the world worship him. Whatever we say about Shiva, you must understand, the very opposite is also the truth. He is the Bhairava, the most fearsome, one who is of quick temper and immense violence. He is also the most compassionate. He is the Sundaramurti, the seducer, a gallant lover and a compassionate, handsome and romantic being. He is also the Tandava Murti, one whose dance would destroy the very process of creation. At the same time, he is Achaleshvara, absolute stillness, one who does not know any movement. Shiva is a yogi who should not be named. To name is to limit and curtail. At the same time, the many names of his, the sum total of all these names is an absolute representation of the whole universe, all its complexities, a representation of all the unfathomable mysteries of the existence. If you can accept this man, who is a complex formation of every quality that you can find on this planet, if you can accept him, you have crossed life itself.
The whole idea is to destroy your logical mind so that you open up to a different dimension of life altogether.
When we say Shiva, generally he is always referred to as Swayambhu because there is no particular moment of creation, there is no particular source of creation. He is by himself. That's why the word Shiva means that which is not. That which is not does not happen at a particular time, does not happen through something, it is there. So Shiva was the creator. Brahma came and started creating. So various galaxies, the planets, the life forms, the humans, everything came forth out of him. Creation got into its grind of movement and Shiva, who was still, opened his eyes and started looking at the creation. As he observed the creation, he saw people were going through all kinds of struggles, pains, miseries, agony, various levels. Here and there was little bit of pleasure and joy. So when he saw this, he did not like the creation. He looked around, then he saw Brahma was so absolutely proud of his creation, he was looking at his creation with great pride and joy. Then he found two eyes were not enough, so he popped one more head to look at this side, he didn't want to miss anything. Then he popped one more and one more. Then he popped a fifth head, like a crown for his pride, not to look at anything in particular, just to crown himself with an extra head. When Shiva saw that this Brahma is so gloating about such a miserable creation, he got mad. He attacked Brahma and plucked his fifth head out. Now he has only four, Brahma screamed in pain and said, "Why are you doing this to me?" Then Shiva said, "Are you not ashamed of this creation that you have done? Everybody's suffering, people are going through all kinds of struggles. People are going through all kinds of miseries and pain and agony. Brahma said, I have not created pain, nor have I created joy. I have just made it. It is up to them how they go through this. It is in their mind. Then Shiva said, who created the mind? That is also your creation. Brahma said, the mind has no attributes of its own, it is just there. People can make joy out of it or misery out of it. People can make agony out of it or ecstasy out of it, it's left to them. Then Shiva sat down and looked at the creation very carefully, observed every creature, and then he wanted to know his own mind. So he closed his eyes and started looking at the nature of his own creation, his own mind. And when he realized, when his realization came to a certain absoluteness, that actually creation is without attribute, each individual can make whatever he wants. The mind is attributeless. So when he realized this, then he became so ecstatic that he jumped and danced. He danced wildly out of his joy and ecstasy. As he danced intensely, with absolute involvement, when every cell in his body was a dance by itself, suddenly he realized that this dance is not necessary either. And he noticed, at the peak of his dance, there was absolute stillness. So he sat down as an ascetic, unmoving, utterly still. They say that stillness happened on this day, on the Mahashivratri night is when it happened. From intensity of ecstasy to absolute annihilation and stillness, these two things he went on alternating. This is the imagery that you see. Sometimes he's dancing and exuberant, sometimes he's utterly still as if nothing exists. When we say Shiva is the destroyer, it is not about destroying the world, it's about destroying your world. Your world is essentially an accumulation of past experiences and impressions. Past is seeping into the present only through your thought process. And it is projecting itself into the future through your desiring process. What you know as your desire is essentially an exaggerated version of the past. So the destruction of the past is the essential nature, because if you want to know the grandeur of the creation, that is possible only through the presently existing moment that is here right now. This is the only doorway. In utter stillness, there is no past. In absolute movement, there is no past. These are the two fundamental passages that Shiva found to give access to that which is creation and the source of creation. There was a certain yogi who practiced very severe austerities from normal food. After a while, he shifted just to fruit diet and then gave up the fruits and just went on leaf and root diet and lived a very pious life. On a certain day, when he was cutting grass in the forest to make a thatch or to make a roof for his little hut in which he lived, accidentally he chopped off his own finger. When he chopped off his finger, to his amazement, he saw, instead of blood coming out of his severed finger, the sap of a plant or a flower was coming out of his finger. Then he felt very satisfied that his austerities, his sadhana has made him so pure that instead of bleeding, he is oozing the sap of a plant. It brought him much pride, and this vanity took over, and he started thinking, I am the purest of the yogis, because now he's turned into a vegetable. Shiva noticed this yogi of great accomplishment falling prey to such simple vanity. So Shiva took on the form of a yogi and came this way. And he saw a great smile of satisfaction on the yogi's face and inquired, what is this big smile about? What are you so self-satisfied about? The yogi said, don't you know, the news has spread everywhere already that I am the purest yogi in the world, because look at my finger, I don't bleed anymore. The sap of a plant or a flower or a fruit is coming out of me. I have become very pure, don't you know? Then Shiva said, animals eat leaves and roots and make blood and flesh out of it. All of it, when it is burnt, turns into ashes. So there is nothing to be very proud of oozing plant sap. That which was a plant becomes an animal. That which is a man or an animal or a plant ultimately becomes ash. Look at me, he said, and chopped off his own finger. And ash came out of his body, and every pore in his body started oozing this ash, displaying that Shiva, a yogi, a true yogi, constantly lives death as he lives life. Only that one who is constantly aware of the mortal nature of his existence, who constantly knows that the flesh and blood that he carries is the ashes of the planet. Only that one is truly pure. It is because of this that Shiva is always depicted as ash smeared. He did not smear ashes upon himself. He oozed ash out of every pore of his body, displaying the ultimate dispassion that he is.
The fundamental tool is this, that there is a certain dispassion. Passion for everybody, dispassion for myself. If this one thing arises in your life, you will see better everything. If you see everything better, if you see the floor that you're walking on better, will you be more balanced? If you're more balanced, if you're really balanced, can you do many more things? Can you dance a little more? That's about it. So everything that you do, if it's passionate, within you, the flower of dispassion will flower because you will see dispassion is the greatest flower.